welcome to all of the new incoming students. Congratulations on your acceptance to the University of Richmond. We're excited to see you on campus soon, and we're offering what we hope will be a helpful session for you all as international students. So we're basically going to present on our office, the Center for Global Engagement, and tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do for international students, and then touch on some information about obtaining visas and arrival procedures to the US. We'll talk a little bit about orientation, of course, and then I think we'll have plenty of time at the end for questions and answers. So, if you think of something that you want to ask us, please let me know. And by the way, I'm Kritika Sonnet. I'm the Director of International Student and Scholar Services. I've been working at Richmond for over 25 years. So I love working with international students, needless to say, and really look forward to meeting you all very soon. So Diana, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Diana Tren. I'm the International Student Advisor and Events Coordinator here at the Center for Global Engagement. I echo what Kritika says. Congratulations on your acceptance to the University of Richmond, and we look forward to meeting you all when you arrive in August. Thank you.
All right, so we'll go ahead and jump into the presentation, and this presentation will be sent to all of you by email afterwards in case there's something you wanted to review, and we have links to things, so we'll email this to you afterwards. Okay, so this is who we are. So in addition to Diana and myself, we are going to have Gareth Wu joining us. So he is an international student, former international student, I should say. He just graduated on Sunday from University of Richmond. So he's from Malaysia. He's going to be our Global Education Fellow for International Student Engagement. So we always hire a member of the team to work part-time with us in a student-facing role. And as Gareth, most recently graduated from U of R as an international student, he's uniquely positioned to address your concerns and answer your questions as a former student. So we look forward to welcoming him to our team later this summer. So just a little bit about the population. Typically about 11% of all undergraduate students are international students coming from over 70 countries. And so we have a mix of exchange and visiting students who study with us for 1 or 2 semesters from our partner institutions. And then we have degree-seeking students like yourselves who come for 4 years. And then we do have some graduate students, some law students, and then some students in our School of Professional and Continuing Studies graduate programs. Okay. So we'll talk about arriving in the US because I'm sure you probably have a lot of questions about that. So the visa is a travel document, as you may know. So it only needs to be valid when entering the US from abroad. And so if you have never physically studied in the US before, most likely you will need an F1 student visa stamp in your passport, unless you have another visa that permits full-time study. F1 students who attended high school in the US can use their valid F1 visa stamp from high school with the I-20 from Richmond to enter the US if you plan on being abroad at some point before starting the semester at Richmond. If you happen to be a citizen of Canada or Bermuda, fortunately, you don't need an F1 visa stamp. However, you still need the I-20 from Richmond, and you still need to pay the SEVIS fee. And then there's a link at the bottom. If you're wondering about how to apply for a student visa, that's all done through the U.S. Department of State. So we would refer you to the website below. Okay, so you should schedule an appointment for your visa interview if you need a visa stamp at the U.S. Embassy or consulate in either your country of citizenship or country of residence. If you have legal residence at a country that is not your country of citizenship. You might be able to apply for student visa at another US embassy or consulate, but it's going to be more difficult to demonstrate that you qualify for a visa if you're applying in a third country. And again, we've given you some websites. So there's a list of all the US embassies or consulates around the world at usembassy.gov. And you can also check visa wait times at that last link on this slide. So for entry requirements, you do need a valid passport for at least 6 months beyond your period of stay in the US, unless you are exempt from this 6-month validity. And there's a list of countries if you'll click on the country-specific requirements. Of course, you need your I-20 from Richmond if you're coming as an F1 student. You'll also need that F1 visa stamp, unless you're exempt. We recommend carrying some sort of proof of your student status. So it could be your admission letter, your scholarship letter, your payment of fees for the fall, your class schedule for the fall. I mean, you don't need to bring every single one of these things, but I think just maybe one proof of student status would be good for you to bring. If you are coming in initial status, so meaning that you are coming to the US for the first time as an F1 student, you'll be coming in what's called initial status, which means that you can only enter the US 30 days before the I-20 program start date. So the program start date, that's going to be on the first page of your I-20. And if you're coming for international orientation, the program start date should be August 17th. As you also may know, there's a lot of scrutiny on international travelers these days at US airports. And so we've given you a link where you can click on websites to know your rights. So if you are questioned by law enforcement, if you encounter law enforcement at the US ports of entry, you do have certain rights. And so we encourage you to look at those websites. Okay, so travel to campus. Hopefully all of you have set up your Richmond email. And so all the information about arriving to campus, orientation schedules, and those kinds of things will be sent to your Richmond email. So I highly recommend you start checking it regularly throughout the summer. If you're attending international orientation, you should check our arrival page, the Center for Global Engagement or CGE's arrival webpage about arriving to Richmond. We also have some resources on there for hotels and things like that if you arrive early and need to stay off campus. Residence Life and Housing manages all of the move-in for all of our students, and they have their move-in and check-in information page, so take a look at that. If you get to the US before your move-in date, you're going to need to make your own arrangements to stay off campus, and there's a lot of hotels near campus. Some of them have free shuttles to campus. If your arrival to campus is delayed and you'll miss all or part of your orientation program, you'll need to contact the orientation staff for that program and inform us about your delay. And if your arrival is so delayed that it looks like you're going to miss some classes, please let us know. You'll also want to contact your college dean. Okay, so some of our resources. So before your arrival, you will be required to fill out the ISSR. So that's the International Student and Scholar Requirement. You'll get an email about that in June. It contains a lot of pre-arrival resources. So we have an online orientation to give you an idea of the resources and programs we have on campus for international students, as well as important information about employment, health insurance, immigration, what to pack, and those kinds of things. So please read all of the information and complete all of the forms in your ISSR by August 1st. So that's all pre-arrival, post-arrival. So after you get to campus, we need you to complete additional forms so that we can register your arrival with the US government. And we would need that done by the end of the first week of class. So that's August 28th. And failure to do so may result in your student visa status being terminated. So basically, we're required by the US government to collect certain information on international students after they arrive, such as their contact information. So, and you'll get plenty of reminders from us, probably more than you want to, about completing these requirements. So just, again, check your Richmond email. So we have an international orientation program. It's going to be Monday, August 17th through midday on Wednesday, August 19th. It's required only for new international students who've never been in the US on a student visa, except for students who are participating in Endeavor and Roadmap. So if that's the case, those programs take place at the same time, so you wouldn't be able to do both. But international orientation and Endeavor collaborate on a lot of events and programs. So you will get a chance to meet other international students and to do things with international orientation if you're participating in Endeavor. So don't feel like you're missing out. International orientation has information sessions on cultural and academic adjustment, US laws, student visas, health insurance, and plenty of social events. We'll have a draft schedule in June, so I've given you the link where you can go to check the preliminary schedule. And then after you're done with either Endeavor or international orientation, you'll participate in New Spider orientation. So that's Wednesday, August 19th through Saturday, the 22nd, and that's required of all students in the class of 2030. All right, so we do have a lot of programs just for international students and social media resources. We have a bi-weekly international student newsletter, and so we'll have stories, articles, events on campus and in Richmond that we think are especially of interest to international students. We'll have a welcome reception at the start of the semester for new international students to meet each other. Throughout the year, we have teas, open houses, and other social gatherings. So this is very informal, sponsored by our office in our office lobby with food, and it's really just a chance for you to meet other international students and form community. We recognize because of financial and travel restrictions that not all international students can leave campus during our breaks. So we have break programming for all of our breaks, fall, winter, spring, summer. So typically we host game days. We have giant Jenga and spike ball and other things. And we have snacks, of course. And Thanksgiving, which is a big American holiday at the end of November. We sponsor Black Friday shopping shuttles to the outlet malls for students who want to go shopping because there's a lot of good sales. And then some of our students host dining hall dinners. So it's very informal. You can use your meal plan. We reserve a space in the dining hall where you can meet other international students. We have a lot of student organizations on campus that focus on cultural or international themes. And so a lot of times these organizations will host events with food and music from a certain country or region of the world. And finally, we have international student career events. We realize that a lot of students might want to find an internship or stay and work in the US after graduation, and there's special needs and challenges trying to stay and work in the US on a student visa. So we have an alumni career panel to address these issues. And then Diana, do you want to talk about the stay involved and the different resources?
Sure. These are just some resources where you can stay involved on campus as an international student. Kritika mentioned a couple of slides ago about our biweekly newsletter that our CGE fellow will be contributing to. We also have a few Instagram accounts, one from our office, one from the University of Richmond in general. The Center of Student Involvement is a department on campus that manages all the student organizations and holds a lot of campus-wide events for all students on campus to participate in. And they usually post all of their events and activities on their Instagram page as well. And all the student organizations on campus has their own page with information about membership, activities, and events that they hold. And that's through an online platform called Spider Central. So that is the direct link that you can access to see what other organizations that you might be interested in joining. You can log in with that using your Richmond login credentials. And Spider Board is also hosted by the Center for Student Involvement. They're in charge of managing all the on-campus community events on campus as well. Also, the university sends out a daily email very early in the morning. I think it's about 5:30 or 6 in the morning. It's called Spider Bites. It's a daily email just letting you know things are happening on campus that day or throughout the week as well. So these would be some good resources for you to follow on Instagram, which is save as a favorite on your browser.
Okay. And that's it. So we'll take questions now. If you think of something later, you can always just send us an email to international@richmond.edu. We're open all summer, so someone will be checking that email inbox if you don't have a question right now. But if you do, we'd love to hear your question.
You will see that at the bottom of your screen, there should be a Q&A box. If you have any questions, feel free to use that function right there to let us know what you have.
No questions about the food, the weather. What is Richmond like?
There's our first question. Good morning. Which would you define as the most challenging part for international students studying at Richmond?
Good question. Yeah, I would say, for some students, it's an adjustment to get used to the American style of participating in class and assessment. So we have small class sizes here, and our professors expect their students to participate in class. So contributing something in class, outside of class, and also, giving your own ideas, your own thoughts or opinions about the subject matter, that can be different for some students. also, we have frequent assessment here. So I know in some countries there's really just maybe one or two big assessments that determine your entire grade. Well, here it's, it could be weekly assignments, um, several tests and exams, and participation in class might also count for part of the grade. So if you remember nothing else, just make sure that you go to class and that you participate regularly and that you're as active as possible in class. Let's see. So getting into the Endeavor program orientation would not miss the introductions about things that should be known by international students like bank, card, or phone, right? Good question. Yes. So I mentioned the ISSR, the International Student and Scholar Requirement before. So one of the reasons we have that for you to take over the summer is so that you can get all of that practical information about opening bank accounts and phone accounts and things like that. We'll also have time during orientation week for students to get that set up with a representative from a bank and a phone company on campus. And we'll add that to the orientation schedule. And you should be able to make time for that if you're an Endeavor. So, yep.
It looks like someone has their hand raised. If you could use the Q&A section to ask your question, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, where is your favorite place to have dinner? Which piece of advice would you have liked to hear to participate outside of Richmond University? Favorite place to have dinner? Diana, you want to answer this?
I really like the dining hall. I think they're ranked pretty high. I can't remember, maybe ranked number 11 at the university. Anyways, the dining hall has a lot of good food. The dining team does an amazing job, and there's a lot of variety of different foods, and it changes from week to week or even day to day. Like for example, they have a omelet station that I absolutely love. They have a panini station where you can kind of customize all of your different meats and vegetables that you want. They have a Vietnamese pho bar. So if you like Vietnamese noodle dishes, they offer that throughout the week. And just a variety of things. And they also have a really, really amazing dessert section with a lot of different vegan, gluten-free options as well. So you can get creative and kind of customize things. You can grab something from the pasta station and, your protein from a different station as well. So you won't get bored with the dining hall, at least not for your first semester. So I would say that.
Yeah, and you'll also have dining dollars on your meal plan. So, for example, the Center for Global Engagement is in the Carol Weinstein International Center, and we have a Passport Cafe. Um, and so it has sushi, and they have specials from different countries and regions of the world every week. We have, I think, right now, gelato. So, yeah, it's got international foods, and they also have like grab and go sandwiches and those kinds of things. And I just want to make sure we address the last part of the question. So, what piece of advice would you have liked to hear to participate outside of Richmond University? I mean, there's a lot of places to volunteer. A lot of nonprofit organizations. If you're an outdoorsy person and you like hiking and kayaking, there are places where you can go for long walks or be outside in nature in Richmond and the surrounding areas, even about an hour away, there's really good hiking. So I guess my advice would be don't spend all your time studying, really get off campus, get into the city of Richmond. There's some cute historical areas and places with shops and fun restaurants and things like that. But yeah, there's more to life than studying. I mean, I know that's kind of hard to believe, but yeah, you will regret it if you don't get off campus. So okay. Orientation, whether the orientation for freshmen is only for 3 days or when will we start classes after reaching U of R? Jason, you want to take this?
Absolutely. So orientation will be 4 days. Critica talked about this earlier in the presentation. On Wednesday, August 19th will be the beginning of New Spider orientation, and that will go all the way through Saturday, August 22nd. There will be some supplemental programming on that Sunday before classes start, but you can expect classes to start on Monday, August 24th. So you'll go through orientation, you'll have a little bit of the weekend to kind of rest and get ready for the semester, and then classes will start that Monday right after. And if you have any questions, you can email newspiders@richmond.edu for any of your orientation things, or as Critica had shared earlier, if you know that you're going to be delayed in your arrival, that's going to cause you to miss either some of your orientation experience or some of your classes, you can also reach out to that email as well, and we can help prepare you and provide some support. Any other questions? These have been really, really great so far.
All right. Well, if there are no more questions, obviously this is not our, oh, okay, somebody, 2%. Oh, can we change the meal plan option after the semester begins? Does someone want to answer this? I'm not sure myself.
If you are assigned to a residence hall, the smallest meal plan you're able to be registered for would be the Spider Unlimited meal plan. So I think the step up from that would be the Spider Unlimited Plus meal plan. So if you have the Plus meal plan, you are able to change it, I think during the first week to the Spider Unlimited meal plan. But that would be the smallest meal plan that you are able to enroll in if you're assigned to a residence hall on campus.
Any other questions? All right. Well, please feel free to email us. You'll get a copy of the presentation, and don't forget to complete the requirements of your international student and scholar requirement in June, starting in June.
Thank you.
Thank
For
you.
everyone.